Hey YouTubes, uh, I'm making this video on what I've observed uh, from living out here in Durham, North Carolina. Last 8 years I've been out here. There are a lot of freaking hustlers, um, and maybe it's not a bad thing because everybody's got to keep moving, doing stuff. But out here, big thing people do is mow lawns. Huge. Everybody's trying to mow lawns. Try to make money mowing your lawn. When I first moved to this place, I was approached by the mailman. The mailman said, hey, if you guys need your lawn mowed, I'm here. And lawn's not too big, kind of a small lawn. You got it front and the back. Probably take about a half hour to mow it, I guess. Not right now because it's freezing outside. But since I rent, it's in the contract that the lawn has to be maintained. No HOA or nothing there. So I had the mailman doing it for a while. And I'm watching him. He's just, he's got his little machine and stuff and little drive mower and stuff, whatever. He's got the blower and all this other stuff, blow the leaves off and everything. And so I'm paying the guy, I think $20. I think at first it was $15 a month, every 2 weeks maybe. Yeah, I think it was every 2 weeks. And then we did that for about maybe a year. And then I started thinking, I go, wait a minute. What the hell's going on here? What am I doing? What am I, a friggin' loser? Such a loser I can't mow my own grass? So I started doing a little research. And I grew up in a household where it was like, we had chores. And one of the chores was to get out there with the old school mower. And the old school mower was basically one of those handheld deals where you just sit there and walk behind it and then just freaking mow the grass. And then you have like a hedger. You use the hedger. And the hedger would hedge the whatever corners of the freaking property or corners of the lawn. And then other things, is like bushes and stuff. Well, you got to cut the bushes. So I started thinking, I said, well, if I'm paying this guy all this money, it's adding up, after a while, it's like $30 a month. And then after a year, I think he bumped it up another $5. So I'm like, I gotta figure some shit out. I kind of figured it out. This guy, that's his hustle. He gets, he's a mailman, but then he's also gets a bunch of people and he just mows their yard. So he's like the mowing mailman. So I said, yeah, I'm gonna do my own research, and went on to Lowe's, checked out Lowe's. Lowe's had a mower. It might have been Amazon, maybe it was Amazon, and so I found a mower, an old school push mower like we used to use back in the frickin' in the 70s. My dad had me out mowing the frickin' grass. So I found a mower, it was an American push mower. And it was $78. Metal construction, it's got the, plastic wheels and stuff, but so I picked that up. I bought it. I said, screw this. I bought it and told him, I said, hey, I'm going to do it myself, man. He's like, yeah, okay, well, no problem, whatever. So I started doing it myself and started saving some, at least $30 a month on it. After 2.5 months, the mower's paid off. I would have paid that to that dude. And so then I bought some hedgers, but went down to Home Depot, bought some hedgers for $15, $20, I think it was, and then I just started doing the hedging stuff myself, and so you know, two birds with one stone. I mean, I come from old school. It's like, hey, ain't nobody gonna do it for you. So I started doing it myself, and I've been doing that for like 5 years, just doing it myself with my old school mower. So there's a little life hack. Everybody got some kind of scam. Not a scam, but everybody's trying to make it. The problem is, if they're trying to make it on your dime, then there's a problem. I mean, we all got to survive. And then we also actually have to be cordial to people and not say, screw you, get off my lawn. So, that's one of the life hacks I figured out. Having an electrical background helps a lot. Another trick I've learned, these are little tricks you might be able to use down the road from a former electrician and a Marine Corps veteran and a Navy veteran, I might add. Another trick that I've learned, if your dryer stops, let's say your dryer is just freaking dead, it ain't, or it's not, say it's working. Here's a good one, because happens more often than not. Your dryer is running, but it's not heating up. And you're like, I don't know what's going on. It just stopped. It just stopped heating. Here's the trick. First thing, go out to your panel. Check the breaker. Make sure that both of the breakers are on, because that's a 220 circuit. So make sure both of those breakers are on. And for just good measure, turn it off and then turn it back on. Next, you want to go to your dryer and unplug the dryer. Just completely unplug it and just put the plug on the frickin' dryer and just let it sit in the off position. Don't try to turn it on the dryer. Don't do nothing. Just let it sit for about 20 minutes. After 20 minutes, plug that thing back in. And that should reset all the internal mechanism computer on that dryer. It will reset the dryer, and the heat will probably go back on, because that's what I did with mine. So that could save you a lot of money right there. Let's see what else. Oh, and make sure if your dryer goes into the no heat mode, but it's running, check your filter, because a lot of times that filter will back up, and that could cause some internal problems on your dryer. Also, you may want to go outside, because a lot of times that vent will go off, and well, it always really does, but the vent will go to the outside of the house and blow out it blows out the air out there. Sometimes little birds and shit get caught up in that thing. They like to go up in there and make their nest. So if they make their nest in there, like mouse or rats or whatever, that could be blocking that freaking vent. So that could trigger something within the dryer to go into the no heat mode, just to protect it. It's just protecting itself. There's just things I learned as an electrician, where if something runs and something's going wrong externally or something, or wherever, and that freaking device senses that something's wrong, it's got its own protection. So in this case with the dryer, it's going to turn off that heating element so you don't burn shit up. That's about all the tips I got for right now. My credentials? My credentials are I spent 4 years in electrical school with the Associated Builders and Contractors in San Diego, California. And I got my electrical certification in 2002. I spent 8,000 hours in the field working as an electrician, sometimes digging ditches, sometimes installing panels, other times pulling wire, a lot of wire pulling going on. So I learned a few things, but hopefully those things can maybe save you a few dollars if anybody's looking for life hacks. All right, thanks for watching.